All right, I should be live now. If only somebody would... Okay, hello everybody. Andreas here from Asia Mind Dynamics. Okay, I tried something new here today, so it's really like a totally new setup for me. You can see my logo here, a totally live feed, newly done. But hey, I'm ready for rock and roll, answering your questions, wondering what are the questions you're going to ask me for this live feed, because the session today is being called Ask Me Anything About Coaching. Ask me anything and get brutally honest responses. Okay, if you were let to know, yes Mary, okay, I know I'm in the right page. Yes, I wasn't quite sure anymore. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. You appear to be regularly following me right now, Mary. Thank you very much. I totally, absolutely appreciate it. What are you doing, Mary? I'm really curious. Seriously, let me know in the comment box, because I have not met you. I do know that you are from the Philippines, I think. So, hello, Philippines. Give me an air five to this beautiful country over there. Thank you very much for being here. I wonder who else could be here right now. Why don't you type in your names, guys? Yeah, Lester, thank you very much. I am happy that you are here as well. Regularly nowadays, I'm sitting at home by myself. It's hot here because our air condition actually spoiled, and I'm waiting for questions from your side. So if you were to just type in something, so I do know that you are actually, that I can actually read your comment. Just type something, anything like yes, wonderful, or great, or whatever. So I do know that you are really here. That I do know that people, that I can read your comments ultimately. Well, the session was really about Ask the Coach. And some of you, Lester, you know KG. KG is not yet online, and he asked me a question earlier. Is Facebook Live a tool to get clients? You know, as a coach, we have these issues finding clients. It's nowadays, coaching is the rage. It's everywhere. I was just reading an article. It's everywhere across the world. Coaching is the rage. People look for coaches. People ask for coaches. Companies look for coaches. Companies want to have good coaches. Thank you, Lester. Okay, and you can hear me clearly as well. Let me share with me if you can hear me clearly as well. So companies look for coaches, people look for coaches, but coaches become coaches, people become coaches somewhere along the line. And then they wonder, I have the office, I have the certification, I have my own spot, I am certified, I am ready for coaching. What do I do next? Where do I get my clients from? Nowadays it's much easier to get clients actually, you know, because when I started off, and I'm not sure I started off, there was no Facebook. Facebook came 2009, right? Okay, thank you, Lester. Facebook came 2009, right? We started off in training and coaching in about 2005, 2004 I got my first clients. 2006 I opened my own company. Hey, Justin, welcome, yeah, F5. I started off coaching and training in 2005, 2006. There was no Facebook. Was there Google already? I don't know. But there was no Twitter for sure. So we actually advertised via newspapers. And the first time we advertised, the ad was so small. And we had a couple of ads in the newspaper, and it was for training initially. NLP in leadership, NLP in sales, NLP in personal development. And I thought like, yeah, we're gonna rock and roll. The room will be filled up with people who want to learn that. Little did I know, two things. First of all, NLP was not known. Absolutely unknown in the marketplace. See, there was a time when people were asking me, Andreas, what are you doing? And I looked at them, I'm an NLP trainer, I'm a coach, certified NLP trainer. NLP, what is that? And I was stuttering around neuro-linguistic programming. It was terrible overall. And then we had this ad in the newspaper, NLP for Leadership, beautifully described. We just didn't realize it's too small. We had 3 or 4 people signed up. It was, well, some of them went over to then join us. Okay, yay, that's right, Lester, you are absolutely correct. Then people joined us, also went to the NLP Practitioner. We were lucky. We actually put, can you believe that? We had brochures, tons of brochures, and we put them into the newspapers. We went to our newspaper store next door to these guys who are selling newspapers on the street, and we asked them to insert it into the newspaper. Insert. They did it, for a fee, of course. We got one call out of about, I think, 2,000 or so brochures. But this person also was one of our first practitioners, and she sent her sister and her daughter for the training. So it was okay, absolutely. Yes, thank you very much for liking. And yes, if you think the session is already good in starting, why don't you share it on your timeline, notify your friends so they have a chance to also check in. Because I'm not sure if I did everything correctly today in my notification. It would be wonderful if more people could join us in this beautiful session. No? Thank you very much. So we had a couple of people coming from that thing. And also, ultimately, it was taking time when Facebook started up. I was like, I'm a German, I don't want to quite go onto Facebook yet. I'm not ready for that. It took me a while to, I think 2010 or so, I opened my profile in Facebook, and Twitter even later, I think. Nowadays are much more, of course. So if you really think that coaching is something for you, you have to get exposure. You've got to get exposure. Otherwise, nobody is going to see you. You got to get into Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter, and you got to create an email list. You got to do in networking events and face-to-face activities still count quite a bit, of course. You got to be present wherever you can. You got to show yourself, be around everywhere to show your presence. But nowadays, I am everywhere. I'm trying to be everywhere. I was blogging for a long time. I actually started to blog way back in 2000 and when was it? Tsunami? 2004. 2004 I was blogging already. I was one person who was quoted in the newspaper when this terrible tsunami hit across Asia Pacific. I was blogging at that time already about the tsunami. I got so many viewers. Somewhere along that line I gave up on blogging. I didn't do it anymore. I still have a blog running, but I haven't posted for about a year or two. But maybe these videos can go all into the blog and becomes a vlog. So what are some of the questions that you do have? So you got to go to your clients, you got to be present, you got to give business cards. Now, the thing is always, it's Asia. It's one of the challenging pieces in Asia that people are too friendly sometimes. I'm sorry to say that, okay? People are too friendly. Asians are not so used in putting their business card into people's faces, and not everybody likes this. But it would be useful for you to have, first of all, have a pretty business card. That's useful. Secondly, put your titles on it, of course, and go to networking events. Give your business cards wherever you can, all the time. You never know what happens ultimately. Do I get lots of calls on business cards? No, of course not. I'm not sure if any of you, for example, know a networking organization. It's called Business Network International. It's a referral organization. Lester, you were a member for a long time. It's a referral organization where members support each other to grow their business via word of mouth. That's such a useful institution, really, such a useful institution for you to become a member, visit it. I think it is definitely available in the Philippines. So Maria, if you are ready, just go and check out where that thing is. BNI International, Business Network International. Matt, we've talked about it already before, about Business Network International. And you, Lester, you were a member for years and years and years until your focus in business got a little bit different as well. So it's a useful organization. Another useful place to hang out. I was doing it for 2 years. Yes, Lester, thanks. BNI is awesome. Give me a like, okay? Give me all a like. I want to see the hearts and the likes float across the screen here. It would be lovely. Another useful organization to join, at least as a member, maybe not necessarily as an organizer, is something called meetup.com. Meetup.com is a platform, an online platform for offline meetings. Check it out. I was running NLP sessions for about 2 years or so. Come across it by different friends of mine, and I was in Meetup for a long time, but I did not only run my own session in meetup.com, but I was also a member of other groups. There are groups in meetup.com for everything from anxiety to phobia to mountain climbing to bicycling to coffee drinking to anything. But it's really about you getting to know people. You get your business card ready, go to this meeting. It's not about promoting yourself in those meetings, of course, and take the effort of the organizer away that you ultimately become the talk of the town there. They want to have their space as well, but you give your business card. Again, share this video. Would be lovely if you could do this. And please type your questions, What is your mindset like as a coach? Find your niche. We've talked about niching already earlier. What is a niche like that you are operating in? Do you like your niche? Are you passionate about it? Do you want to work in your niche? Do you know this stuff? Does it make you feel good? Are you people-oriented? It doesn't mean that you always like people. It's not that I love everybody I'm hanging around with. I'm not necessarily always people-oriented. I can be in a whole crowd and sit in the back of a crowd. But when you coach people, you need to have that drive. You need to be able to dig beyond into their problems, identify what is really the root cause of a problem, and dig it out and find it and go there and dig it out and solve it with your client ultimately. One favorite topic of mine. Let me share this with you. A couple of times now, people always ask me, or saying, is it all right for a coach to give suggestions? What do you think? Is it all right for a coach to give suggestions to your client? Because it's a huge area. There are a lot of things to think about. What do you think? Is it important? Is it possible? Let me just check something. Is it impossible, or is it possible for your coachee that you direct your coachee through your suggestions? I believe it's possible. I believe it's possible. Because sometimes you got to hold up the mirror in front of the coachee's face. Sometimes the coachee does not see their blind spot. If you give direct suggestions, if you tell the client plainly, straight away, what do they need to do, the client might do it. But because the client is a client and they have their own experience, their own idea, their own life, it is different from yours. As much as you know the client, you don't know them totally. The client might hop onto your suggestion and might fail, and then he might say, hey, even this great coach could not help me. Terrible. Do not do this. The client might say, might not even think anymore because, hey, you are the coach, you give me all the solutions, I'm okay, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Will it work? Maybe it does, maybe it does not. But if you give solutions to a client, first of all, the client might become dependent on you for all the issues, because you are the one then helping them overall to get the solution. I've got a problem, Andreas. I call Andreas. He tells me what is required. You don't want that. You don't want to become the papa figure of that coach, of the coachee, of the client. Also, basically you're taking the client away. It's about two things. You can ask questions. We always have an idea what somebody else should do, right? In any coaching situation, we have an idea what somebody else should do to get out of their situation. Now, I believe when a coachee comes to you and a client comes to you, first of all, they most likely do know already what they should do. And you have an idea what they should do, right? If you guide them with careful questions, position your questions carefully, you can guide them somehow how to say, not directly but indirectly towards a certain area. That's useful. Makes sense, right? Also, when you do an intervention with a client, when you, in NLP, when we do NLP coaching, when I do work with my clients, I do exercises. In the end of the exercise, in the end of the intervention, which helps people to remove negative programs in the mind, in the end of that session, what I'm doing is as well, I'm summarizing together with the client about their problem. And then the whole stuff that we found, we can summarize together, we can feed back to the client, we can give certain ideas. It's a discussion. Automatically, of course, you can ask questions. You can tell the client a little bit, I think you should do that. That leads me to the third point. When you tell the client what to do, you got to give them the possibility to push back. Push back. Got to give the possibility to push back. So you would have to form really indirect suggestions. What I think, you got to give the client the ability to push back. You can say things like, in my world, I would propose to do this, or I have the idea, I have an idea, but please push back if that does not apply to you. That comes from my own seafood, that James, not Triana James. So you can say, hey, I have an idea what you should do. And then you say your statement. However, that's just my idea. If it does not fit with your world, with your ideas, please push back. That's useful, right? At that point of time, the client has an idea, can ponder about, can think about, and then decide by himself or herself, yeah, that is a right idea. I can do that. One more thing a coach needs to do, you need to be, I gotta tell you something, okay? You need to become an exquisite communicator. Today I had a bit of a negative experience with one of my coachees. What happened was, my coachee asked me something yesterday, and I was really busy in lots of different things. And he asked me something via WhatsApp, something which is totally out of my job scope. He asked me if I can find him a job. I'm not doing that. So I said actually to him, no, that's not my job scope. I can't find you a job. But he took it totally, absolutely negative. Because he thought like I dropped him like a hot potato and wouldn't care for him. And he gave me very bad feedback today. I broke rapport. It was like happens sometimes. Hey, even the best people, I think even Anthony Robbins might break rapport sometimes. I think I heard a story or two where he broke rapport. So it's my job now to rebuild the rapport with that client massively. I might have to step up and apologize to him, saying, hey, almost like I'll do this. I would say to him, hey, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have talked to you like this. I was busy. Describe my situation. Ask him if he was in a similar situation before, and if you also had a slip of tongue and said something too early and regretted it afterwards, but something bad happened in his relationship or in his communication with somebody else. It is so useful. So as a coach, you got to also be ready to learn all the time. Learning is, you got to be a sponge for learning. You got to accept learning wherever you are. Learning in every situation. There's no failure, only feedback. I talked about this last week with Rizal. But also identifying yourself. Be aware of when you mess up. Question from you. Hey, Marius, as an entrepreneur, what is the best introduction to a client, which is also a coach? Okay, give me one moment, okay? So as a coach, you need to be able to be a sponge for learning, to learn a lot of stuff. Now let me give you something special, okay? Mary, this is for you. Great question. Thank you very much. Mary asked, I don't want to put it on my face. Mary asked, for all of you, as entrepreneur, what is the best introduction to a client which is also a coach? Whoa, I promise you one thing. When somebody is a coach, they could be the worst client. Because they might, in their minds, ask, they might check on what are you doing. So you are saying something and they are reflecting their mind, and they might come up with a coaching cap, that starting to wear the coaching hat and say, that question, I wouldn't ask it like this, I wouldn't ask it like that, or she should do this and not that. What kind of coach is she? How come she's not going into this direction? So you must watch out, Mary, that the coach, your client, is not taking on the coach hat and starting to criticize you inside or even verbally. So when something like that happens to me, it never happened actually, I had some coaches, I had to coach some coaches, but I learned from somewhere. If somebody comes to me and says, Andreas, I think you should do this because I'm also a coach and I think I would propose to my client this one, why don't you do that? I would tell my coachee, who's also a coach, who's a coach? I would say, you are here with me right now because you are in trouble. You have this problem. You hired me. You asked me to coach you. Now, if your solution works, why didn't you do it before? We can test it out. Maybe it works and I was wrong, sorry. Or, in my world, as a coach right now, I think the best you should do is this one. And then you give your idea. Mary, you tell them, I think we got to do this exercise, I think you got to do this action, or I think you got to develop that task for me right now. You got to re-establish rapport. Maybe rapport is a bit broken, and you got to make sure that your client, who's also a coach, is really understanding that you are the coach in that situation. A real coach has coaches. I've got a couple of coaches. I've got a couple of coaches who help me, for example, to work with me online right now. Tomorrow I'm going to meet you, Kai. And Kai, when I meet you, I'm going to ask you a question or two regarding online development and all of that. But I got a couple of people that I can ask post-question to. And I understand they are the coaches. I have certain ideas about what they should do or what I could do differently, but I'm open-minded because these coaches are successful. And would I say I'm successful in online coaching or in online stuff yet? I'm not. I'm still learning a lot. So I'm grateful to everything. So I'm not in the position to say to my online coach, hey, you should do this, or hey, I think we should do that. Because this coach would then say, okay, Andreas, you're on your own, bye-bye. I hope I could answer your question, Marie. Alright? We have a YouTube channel where there are also other people. If you are not a member, or if you're not a subscriber, or if you have not been on YouTube to our channel, it is Asia Mind Dynamics. Just type in Asia Mind Dynamics. Either you type it in as one word, or you type it individually, Asia Mind Dynamics. Like our YouTube channel. If you want, I haven't added this one in as an overlay yet. If you want, of course, you should actually also sign up for our mailing list. Go to our website, asiaminddynamics.com. Sign up to the mailing list. It's not, I'm not spamming you every single day of the week or so. It's very irregular that I'm sending emails. So feel free to sign up there because you get updated on what stuff happens. Finally, Cairo, alright. I just say bye-bye and then you're okay. Of course I'm answering more questions. If there are more questions, I will always ask that. Yes, of course you can do group coaching, Cairo. What holds you back? You are still the coach. You're a big daddy coach, right? So, you gotta establish your criteria. You gotta establish the objectives in a group coaching. What is the outcome that this group want to achieve? You gotta probe them. You gotta give them more work to do about the different areas to explore. You can do it a little bit like a training session even. They have to explore their issues, they have to explore their problems, they have to identify solutions. You got to give them homework or task to do, so they have to do the work. That's what you have to do. It's similar to normal coaching. It's similar to training. The only difference is, it's not a one-on-one coaching, it's a little bit of a group coaching. Now, how big is a group coaching? If the group coaching is 20 people, it's training already. A group coaching could be 4 people, it could be 3 people, it could be even 2 people. A relationship, husband and wife, could be a little bit of a group already. So I don't know, when you say group coaching, how big should that be? But I think it's definitely possible. You can even coach companies, different groups there. You can group the marketing department, you You can discuss with the marketing department or their issue with the accounting department. You can coach 2 departments. Hey, sag mal. Some do's and don'ts of coaching. Yo, Serodi, what do you mean by do's and don'ts? I just explained earlier that it's okay, Sukma, to give suggestions, but there are certain styles, certain ways of how you give suggestions. So it's possible to give suggestions. It is important for everybody, all of you in there, listening here right now, and those who listen later, it's important to network. It's don'ts. Don'ts, of course, is you should not have any preconception about your client. Do not judge a client based on gender, based on sexual orientation even. Do not judge them on ethnic group. Do not charge them for their issues. You have to decide by yourself what issues you want to coach on. And then if somebody comes to you with that issue that you don't want, you got to say, nope, that's not for me. Go somewhere else, refer them out. Alright? So if it's an issue you absolutely don't like, don't coach them if they tell it early to you. However, the big however, if a coachee comes to you with a certain issue, Sukma, and then the challenge comes, you're talking to them, you're exploring with them, and they're coming out with something you absolutely can't stand, you have to continue coaching. You can't stop. They trusted you. Hold on, Mary, I lose your question. Okay, advantages and disadvantages of presentation in the house of a guest. Let me try to understand. Okay, Sukma. If the client comes with a problem you don't like, but they're coming to you and reveal that problem, session 3, 4, 5, or even session 2, they've started open up to you. Do not cancel it. They start trusting you that they're open up to you right now. You got to get over your own inner issue. Got to complete the coaching. That's really important. You can't do that. I had one client. She said to me, I think I mentioned it earlier in another session earlier. Halfway through, she said, Andreas, you were my last hope. It's not my favorite line. I don't coach people who are suicidal. It's not. I can't do that actually. But she was halfway through. She was on. How do I do that in the camera? On her way up already, getting out of the issue. So I was like, oh, thank God, I succeeded here. Otherwise, I would have been in big trouble. Do you understand, Sukma? You can't get into a relationship with the coachee. You can't fall in love with your coach. That would be insulting or offending integrity. Makes sense, right? Mary, let me answer your question. What are the advantages and disadvantages of presentation in the house of a guest? What do you mean by guest? Let's say, I think you might mean client. Let's say client. Yes, you can present to a client. Is it a corporate client? Of course they want to see you. You might have to present to them. Why not? If you go to their home, you got to introduce yourself to them. Maybe, but I would not necessarily go to a client's house. I think I only did it once or twice. That was when I did a career coaching for somebody, and they asked me if I can come over. And it was a beautiful place, so I could do that. If I would go to a coachee alone by myself, I wouldn't. Especially you're a woman, don't do that. Also, a coachee is on his own territory, you lose credibility. Ask them to come to your place, they must come to your place. It shows their willingness to change. So ask them to come to your place. If they don't want to come, most likely they are not coachable, don't go to them. Matt, how many sessions minimum? Well, phobia. Usually tomorrow I'm working with somebody on a phobia. The minimum is really 1 hour, minimum 2 hours, because I got to explore a little bit. Sometimes a little bit more. So the minimum could be 2 hours, 2.5 hours or so. Phobia removal is fast, but I got to explore the issue. I would never tell a client how long it is. I tell them it might take 10 sessions or 10 hours or 15 hours coaching. That's if it's an independent person coming to me, I would say about 10 hours, depending on the issue, Matt, okay? Depending on the issue. Corporate coaching can be a little bit longer. However, you are boxing yourself in. So you are boxing yourself in that you are under pressure, you must complete it. Because what happens if you don't complete it in that point of time? You are in trouble, right? So I'd rather say, I think we need 7 hours, but it could be more, it could be lesser. On average, I take this one, so much for it. But I have to explore it with you first. After the first session, personal history, then I can tell you how much approximately you like. From that, do not go immediately when a client calls you. They ask you how much it takes, how long it takes. It gives them an hour's time. You will not make it then. You have to see them, you have to tell them, you have to understand a little bit of the issue. Then you might give an approximation. Do not ever give them an exact number because it costs you trouble. Okay, Matt, I hope it helps you. Let me see. Christy, what is the question? How do you draw the line so your client doesn't become dependent or relying on you? You set the boundaries. You set the boundaries. That means I had a coachee one time, long time back. She was asking me, what was it? Oh, Natra was with me in coaching. I'm so very alone right now. I've got dinner or I've got lunch. Would you like to come over to sit in my, to join me for lunch? No. Don't do that, okay? You're crossing the boundaries. The coachee is not your friend. You have a friendly relationship maybe, but they're not your friend, at least not until at least half a year or 1 year after the coaching relationship. Then you might start to build a relationship. If the coachee, Christy, if the coachee start to develop certain demands on you, on time, on time, on favors, draw the line. Or you have not established your boundary early enough. They should immediately respect you. You are the coach, cannot do. All right? I had one coachee a couple of years back. His mom called us at midnight because the coachee freaked out. He was spiraling into something very, very negative. So at midnight I had to do some quick telephone coaching with my coachee because his mom freaked out and the coachee became a bit dangerous to her. So I had to do some quick coaching over the phone. These are emergency situations. It's not my favorite. I don't want to have that all the time. Yes, I hope that could help you a little bit, Christy. You got to watch out if your coachee says, can I meet you after work always? If it's not your style to coach after work, do say no. It's your time, it's your life as well. You don't necessarily want to spend your whole evening, your whole free time on your coachee. However, if you're clever, you could say, okay, I can meet you in the evening time, but you might put a 50% surcharge on it. I don't do that, but I read in certain books, it's possible for some people. You want to meet me after work, you want to meet me in the evening time. Hey, come in but then you gotta pay 50% more on my hourly charges. Anybody else got a question? Nadia, hello, good to see you. Again, feel free to share this video across your timeline. I would like to slowly wrap up here. It's 36 minutes. Running already, at least on my side here. Next week, I have somebody on an interview again. It's a great guy. It's an NLP master practitioner. He coached earlier online on investment, on trading. He actually wrote a book or two, I think, on goal setting, and I hope he hasn't 100% confirmed yet. Otherwise, I got to flip it around. Some people. But I want to continue at least 2 or 3 more weeks with this coaching series. If you know friends of yours who might enjoy those coaching sessions, ask them to either come to my Facebook page to check for the old ones, go to my YouTube channel, can find all that videos. This one will be, I think, only launched next week into YouTube, so they can go back and watch the older videos. I think they're pretty cool. I like it. I hope you liked it a lot. I hope you learned something. I hope I could provide you some value. If you think it was great, just give me one more big like. That would be lovely. Otherwise, thank you, Justin. Otherwise, Thank you very much. And always remember, you create your life. You are in charge of your mind, okay? And your coaches, your clients will have so much pleasure of working with you. Thanks and bye-bye.